For this chapter, we're going to add buttons and link styles so we can differentiate the two and decide which one's going to be better for what we're going to do. And here I've got an example I created in the last chapter, which covers images. And if you haven't seen that, I'd recommend you go and check it out. But first of all, we can add links from one page to another in Squarespace, to PDF documents, to email addresses, or third-party websites on almost any element in the site. So we can add a link to this image here, for example, by selecting on it once, going to the chain icon, and from here we've got a pop-up list of all the pages in our site. So we can search for all of the contact options in here. So let's go to this page here. At this stage I can copy this and add it into another link as well. Save us time having to find it each time. And as we can also see here, we can either remove the link if we go back into it, edit it, or copy the link. But if we edit it one more time, if we link it to a third page, we've got the option to open that link in a new tab. So when we click on it, it will open that page in a new tab at the top of our browser. And that's really good when we're linking to PDF documents or third-party websites. We can also see that this is too big here at the moment, so I'm just going to adjust that, align it to the center. A little bit of housekeeping so that they're nice and uniform. And let's add an image to our text area here. We could just press enter once to create a paragraph break and then put more info. We can highlight this text by clicking and dragging on it. And now we can click on the chain icon. Again, we can link to the same page or a separate page. Once that link's created, it's got a very subtle underline effect. And of course, we can do the same with content within the middle of a sentence, as shown in this example here. So those are text links. If you wanted something that jumps out a little bit more as a clearer call to action, then I'd wholeheartedly recommend buttons. And here we can go to add a new block. Second down on the left, we can see button. We can now drag this button into place. We can edit that button to 3 overarching styles. If you wanted something to stand out but not too bulky, you can go for tertiary, secondary, which uses the underline. This is specific to this website, and I'll show you how to customize these in just a moment. So there we go, a button positioned at the bottom, and we got the same options if we click on that link option as we did if we were to add a link into the text or as an image. But now let's duplicate this button and bring one across to the right hand side here. So now we have our signposts with clear call to actions below. Okay, next up, let's have a look at some of the styling. So I can click on the edit option via that pencil icon to change the text that we have within that. And we can go back in and tweak it at any point. This doesn't change the link that it goes to. And then if we go to design, we've got one key feature here, whether our button fits or fills the frame. So for example, we can align that button to the left and get it to fit so it's much smaller. And we can do the same for this one here. When we choose it to fit, it will adjust the width of the button depending on the content, as shown in this example here, up into the edge of the bounding box. The moment we hit the edge of that bounding box, it will drop to a second line. Or alternatively, we can increase the width of that bounding box, which gives us more to work with. And as shown here. Those are customizable options, whilst if we go with the fill option, it will fill to that bounding box, not just horizontally, but vertically as well. What I would strongly recommend against is to mix and match these. We want a uniform style throughout our website, ideally. Now we have 2 uniform buttons, but say we find those buttons a little heavy and we want to streamline them a little more. We've got options. We can either choose from 3 overarching button styles. Let's go for tertiary for each, which makes them more subtle, but they still have clear standout capabilities on the page. Another option is we can go in and edit our button styles. So let's say that we wanted our tertiary button to have a chunkier outline. So let's go for 2 pixels. We can do this in the settings, and also we can choose the font for this button style. Let's go for uppercase. We can now see that that button style is uppercase, and we're going to take it back to a 1 pixel outline as well. Our button style is complete, and we're ready to move on to the next section. Or are we? One final check that you need to go through each time is checking this on mobile, because the likelihood is, as in this example here, the button isn't in an optimal position. I'm going to move this across to the right and just bring it down a tiny bit. Or in fact, that could work quite well there. And I'm going to do that the same here. If you feel that the content's a little tight, you can just create yourself some more space. Bring them down a couple, and let's just bring these 2 blocks. So all I need to do is click, hold and drag to select multiple blocks as a way of easily editing these layouts. So our design now works on mobile, it works on desktop, and we're ready to go. Hope you found this helpful, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.
If you want to say in the future direction of the content that I'll be creating at Pixelhaze Academy and to get involved in our community, all you need to do is leave me your email address. We're looking to create our first community in the coming weeks, and I'm going to be throwing everything I've got at it. That includes our Moonshot Transformation Program, our entire library of online courses, the opportunity to engage with me in regular group sessions. There's more information in the description, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on how we can develop this. Thanks again, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.